Welcome to episode 4 of Artists in the Spotlight. I'm your host, Penny Freeman, and we're with Desert Vikings, a local Phoenix, Arizona band with a variety of styles and instrumental background, who came together and formed a heavy metal band. Welcome, Desert Vikings. So welcome to Artists in the Spotlight. So my first question is, tell us how Desert Vikings began and how did you guys meet?
Oh, me? That's you.
That's you.
That's you. Well, I wanted to do a heavy metal project, and I was thinking of names, and I came up with Desert Vikings, so I started asking friends, if they wanted to jam out. And, that's kind of how it got started, I guess. I was playing with Scott Rowe and Red Rum, and I wanted to do something else also. And this guy used to work at the Circle K down the street from my house, and I went into the store one night, and I was dressed up to go to my show I was going to play at. And my very first show with Scott Rowe and Red Rum, and he goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go play." He goes, "You're in a band?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, where's it at? I'm going to go." And he showed up. And I introduced him to Paige that night, and she gave him a ride home, thank God.
That was a story.
But yeah, so he came to all the Scott Rowe and Red Rum shows after that, and so then we asked Paige. She was with Malicious Melodies, and they wound up breaking up. So I asked her if she wanted to sing, and she said yeah, and then the band was formed. And we had a different bass player and a different drummer at the time, and they didn't work out. So we
also had another singer, an additional singer
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
That's right.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, Mark Cleese also was an original founding member of the band. Forrest, myself, and Mark wrote our very first song, Grendel. Yeah, and then Paige came in to sing it with Mark, and Mark decided he wanted to concentrate on teaching, that the nightlife was a little more than he wanted to do. So he left the band after our very first show. And then Paige became our only singer. We actually wrote a duet for a male and female Viking love song, The Return.
Yeah.
So will you play that sometime?
I think we will. I think it's a good idea.
Only if Forrest sings it.
Oh boy.
Because I don't sing. I can't play and sing at the same time to save my life. Yeah, I could barely play.
You got a guitar player, you got your bass player, so you guys could sing.
Me and Rachel will sing it.
There you go.
So who's gonna play is it a non-drum song?
Oh no, it's a drum
It can
song.
be.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just pretty mellow.
But she can sing and play drums too.
Yeah.
And I've proven I can sing and play bass too.
Yeah.
Right on.
I'm the only one that can sing, I guess.
Everybody sing. Alright, so exactly who did found the band?
I guess I did, yeah.
You founded the band. Okay, so that's cool. I didn't
But it wasn't
realize-
really founded, though, until I got together with Forrest, Paige, and Mark. The four of us pretty much said, let's do this. And then we added the other two people to the
Well,
band.
how long ago was that?
a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. And
Oh,
I think
wow.
it was
So
late
you've been around a
January.
Late January, early February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll be 2 years coming up soon.
Wow. That's so weird.
Yeah,
And
and
I
then
didn't even know that you guys even existed until, March?
I didn't know either. Rachel was asked to do fill-in drums for a show, and at the time I was hanging out with her, playing in other bands with her, and I was sitting there just chilling at her house. I'm like, all right, I'm bored. So I'm sitting there and I start playing bass with them. And then their bass player at the time, voted that I replace him as the bass player.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was John Duff. He was stand-in bass. We
Oh,
also had
yeah.
some stand-in musicians. So when we lost our
Yeah.
other musicians, we had Matt Taylor set in on drums for us and help us out filling our gigs. Thank you, Matt Taylor.
Yeah.
And then also Rob Irwin set in on bass a lot and helped us out. Thank you, Rob Irwin. And John Duff also set in on bass. All very good, killer musician Viking brothers of ours.
So, who came up with the concept of Desert Vikings and where did that come from?
I guess that was me again.
What?
He had a vision.
Yeah, so I wanted to do something different. I thought Vikings were cool, right? I love Vikings. And we live in the desert, but how could it be Desert Vikings, right? Because Vikings are from Norway. But in reality, Vikings are known for pillaging, but they're not as well known for what they really did was travel all over the world. So Vikings are in almost every bloodline around the planet. Almost everybody has Viking blood.
Yes.
How would you describe the music that y'all create?
I was gonna say that's interesting.
I would say progressive thrash, doom, classic rock, punk, metal.
All wrapped up into one.
That's a nice little burrito you got
Okay.
there.
Just hold
So
the block.
It's like
Right.
it's like goulash or succotash. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
there you go.
It is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I would think it was kind of like a hard rock metal somewhere progressive.
And sometimes there's even a little bit of blues
Yeah,
when I press the issue.
yes.
Yeah, there's some splash of like blues and jazz.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
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 That's cool though. That's great combo. So, are there any hidden meanings in your lyrics?
Why, just about all of them.
Really? So,
Oh, God.
The plurality of our music.
Oh, yeah. The crypticism of it all.
Yeah.
nothing specific, or no?
It's a large part of the
That's to
mystery.
lead, that the crypticness is for the purseer or the listener in this case to personally pick it up.
on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so your new song, "Plague of Corruption," you wrote it during the COVID-19. So tell us about that song.
So they wrote the music because I'm incapable of writing music. I can think of things, but it doesn't come out quite right. And then we were Forrest and Sean and I were just kind of messing around one evening when we didn't have practice, and they were playing this song, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And so we started kind of throwing ideas at each other, and Sean said "Plague of Corruption," and then it kind of went from there. So the majority of the lyrics I wrote, but we were all involved in the writing of them and the concept of it because we were definitely writing it about the bleep of COVID-19.
Yeah.
The
It
bleep.
actually came out to be a really good process. We just stumbled on
Yeah.
a really great process of writing.
Yeah.
Is we come up with a little bit of the music together as guitars, and then bring Paige in to help us write the lyrics. And we have some ideas. The whole band talks a little bit about ideas in practice, and then we go and do stuff. And then we come back, and then the four of us practice the music without Paige singing, and then we get together with Paige, and all of us play all the music together.
And there's a little bit of stumbling here and there throughout it, though, because we had to make adjustments to fit each other's playing ability and styles, as well as rearranging how they'll write something in our head or arrangement a specific way, and then we'll start playing and then we'll realize that the arrangement doesn't work quite right, so we'll
Yep.
do some quick adjustments to fix it.
And then I'll come back to practice and I'll be like, wait a minute, what are you doing?
You
That's
changed
not the
it."
way we did it before.
It's not the same song anymore.
Well, that's
But it
cool.
is.
So confused.
Because I was going to ask who wrote the lyrics, so I guess that answers the question.
Everybody has a part in writing the songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like because it tells a story. So
Yeah, oh yeah.
which is
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. All of our songs tell a story.
So yeah, I would love to see more videos of your songs,
Right.
kind of going with the story that's being told. That'd be kind of cool.
We have a lot of message within a lot of our songs. Like, for example, We All Cry Alone is a song about child abuse. And we are still working on a video for that song, and it's a very loud message, and we want to make sure the video is perfect before we release it, because it's definitely something that we're trying to send a really important message out to people.
And it's not something we could take lightly. It has to
Yeah.
actually be a legitimate video that gets everything across, not half-butting it.
Yeah, because
Right.
we're
I'm not sure if I
speaking,
can
we're
cuss.
speaking to victims and abusers both at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So who would you say is your musical influence and that you are inspiring to be like? You can each answer that.
Ladies first.
Oh, you go first.
We'll go this way. Start with
There
you.
you go.
What's my inspiration as far as what?
Like who do you aspire to be like?
Oh,
Instrumentally.
well, I have. When I first started playing, I listened to a lot of Journey because he has impeccable timing, and then he taught me metronome. I also listened to a lot of Queensryche. I listened to which is Scott Rockenford. I forgot his name. It's Scott. And then I adore Lamb of God a lot. the beginning of my playing, I used to listen to a lot of Jimi Hendrix, Mitch Mitchell, Cream, Buddy Rich, Gene Krupa. I like a lot of jazz. I tend to listen to a lot of jazz. And Pantera a lot too. So those are my most favorite.
Good variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she's a great drummer.
Yes.
She's so awesome. So awesome. When I grow up, I want to meet Stevie Nicks, like with all of my heart. Stevie, if you happen to see this, I am desperate to meet you. I swear to you, I will be a normal person. I will not freak out and be one of those weird fans. I just want to meet you so bad. Stevie Nicks is definitely my idol. Chris Cornell, rest his soul, is also my idol, and for various reasons. One is because he was very influential in helping a lot of aspiring musicians become the people that we see and listen to on the daily, like Eddie Vedder. And I have been told that I have a lot of remnants of Janis Joplin and Bonnie Raitt. Patsy Cline was a big influence, believe it or not. So yeah, I have always just completely diehard loved music. I'm that person that can probably sing every single word to the song, even if I've never heard it, but I probably can't tell you who the artist is. But I love everything from classical to hardcore death metal. But Stevie Nicks is my idol.
As far as like influences for me, it kind of goes a little bit all over the map. Growing up, I grew up in country stuff, so my mom would always play like Metallica, AC/DC, Skid Row, and stuff like that, and that got me into the metal stuff. But I'm a big punk rock guy, and when I was about 4, my mom got me a Green Jello serial killer soundtrack cassette, and I listened to that, fell in love with that, and started going more into the punk. So I started listening to stuff like Primus and Dead Kennedys, Suicidal Tendencies. Then I would go even further back to like old Misfits with Glenn Danzig and stuff like that, and the Ramones, and that made me want to start playing guitar because I didn't start playing bass. I started playing guitar. But then, as I got older, I started listening to more metal, like Mushroom Head, Korn, Slipknot, and I would hear the bass just pounding in my head, and I'm like, I'm going to pick one of these up. And since then, I've been inspiring, and anyone that's been around me can tell you, I'll sit there and bust out some random Tool or Primus riffs and stuff like that, just because it's so complex, and I want to work with it. And more recently, as I'm going back through my old stuff, I'm realizing that a lot of my movement I do on stage, like my stage performance, reflects very much Ryan from Mudvayne, the bass player from Mudvayne. How I act on stage is exactly how he acts, and I never realized how much that actually influenced how I do things.
Yeah, you have a really good stage presence. He's always
yeah, he
moving.
does.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I can't sit still. You make me sit still, I start getting nervous.
We need a bigger stage.
That's what you were saying the other day. You still get nervous. I'm like, what? It don't look like it.
It helps. The movement helps me get through any kind of stage nerves I have, because I'm like, if I sit still, I have to realize where I'm at. If I keep moving, I just focus on the moving and focus on the playing, and everything else is just peachy.
Yeah.
Oh, my biggest musical influence is probably my father, and that's who I aspire to be like, I guess, mostly. But he was a country musician around town for many years, and when I was born in '69, he was a piano player for Waylon Jennings, and then later on he played with people like Sammy Kershaw and I don't even know, so many people.
Some big names even right
Yeah.
there, yeah.
When I was a little kid, I grew up for 7 years going to Mr. Lucky's every Friday night because he played in the band there with J. David Sloan and the Rogues. So that was a big part of my musical training, I guess. And as much as country's not really my favorite thing at all, but there is some country that is rebel enough that I fucking love it. But really, I'd probably aspire to be more like Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman from Slayer. That's probably more of my style, and James Hetfield from Metallica. Because when I was a teenager, the first time I was in 7th grade, and Metallica came here to play with Icon, and I went to see Icon, and they were really good. Of course, they were always good. That was a local band a long time ago. And,
That sounds familiar.
and then Metallica came on, and I was like, who the hell are these guys? And there was 5 of them in the band. That was when Dave Mustaine was still in the band. And I got turned on to Metallica, and man, I'll tell you what, that was it. I wanted nothing else but thrash metal after that. And so then I joined thrash metal bands, and I've actually been in reggae. I love reggae. Bob Marley is one of my big influences. I love Bob Marley. There's just so many, though. But I guess my playing style is most like blues-based leads with thrash metal rhythm type of stuff. Yeah. But Forrest has been teaching me a lot. He's been forcing me to learn new stuff. He's like, check out this stuff. I'm like, that's my kids' metal. Why do I even want to listen to that? He's like, listen to it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. So now he's got me playing stuff like Trivium, you know, and I got him playing See You in Hell.
I fucking love that
By
song.
Grim Reaper. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. So I think, actually, when we started playing together, I think I wanted to be like Forrest. After a while, I was like,
I'm
this.
aspiring to be like
Yeah,
Forrest.
no, he's a great
It's
idol,
real thing.
man. Yeah,
It's a real
Oh,
thing.
wow.
just like me with technology, I'm very technology minded. So people used to come to me for technology questions all the time, and then he starts popping up all this new stuff, and I'm like, I'm too old for that. I'm not into the new stuff. And he's like, no, you need to get a 7-string guitar, and you need to learn where all the harmonics are, and you need to use the tremolo more, and so he's forcing me to
I'm
learn more
not quite that gruff with it.
we do feed off of each other.
I'm a lot
Yeah.
more laid back than
stuff. Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
We inspire each other to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
New
Forrest
things.
is actually a big influence in my life.
So,
Yeah.
what about you, Forrest?
I mean, any metalhead, the big four come to mind, like Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax. If I had to pick one person, it'd probably be Paul Gilbert. Just
Oh, yeah.
Just his progression from like Mr. Big to Racer X to like his solo blues stuff is all like I aspire to be that well rounded.
You guys kind of answered who your favorite national bands are. I mean,
Yeah.
who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite national band?
Mhm.
As far as I always think House and Chains, national, right?
Yeah. That's a good band. I like them.
But it's I don't know, like Queensryche's one.
Oh, I love them.
Still.
There's so many.
I like
They're
Trevor
great.
now
They're great
because
performers
Forrest
too.
got
Like
me into
Yeah.
stage
rhythms.
performance.
Yeah.
Love
Anything else
right.
I do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the opera
Yeah.
background
Yeah.
appearance. and-
It's that progressive.
Yeah.
I like that progressive metal and Dream Theater a lot, so
Yeah.
So who's yours? Stevie Nicks.
Well, she's my idol, but my very favorite. It's a big toss up. I love Dax Riggs. Probably no one has ever heard of him. He's from Acid Bath and Agents of Oblivion,
Oh, yeah.
and Elephant Man and the Dead Boy, or Dead Man and the Elephant Boy. Dax Riggs, he's awesome. And Pink Floyd, of course, and Led Zeppelin, of course, and yeah, stuff like that.
Mine's
Grand Funk Railroad.
Grand Funk is a good one too, yeah. All great bands.
Mine's actually a very weird one because it doesn't really fit any of the style that I play or anything. It's actually the band Mindless Self-Indulgence.
Oh, yeah.
They mix a mixture of punk, metal, electronica, and rap together. They're from New York. They used to be on Virgin Records, but before they crashed. So they're my favorite touring band. Anyone who's ever seen them, and if they don't like the music, will tell you they put on a crazy good show. Like, they entertain the crowd. When they're done, as soon as they get done, they don't go back to the green room. They get off the stage and start hanging out with the crowd.
Oh, wow.
And they've been a touring band since the late 90s, and they just keep doing it. And they're actually my favorite band. I can honestly say, after I met them the first time, I will never stop listening to them.
Oh, my favorite band?
Slayer.
Old Metallica.
Yes.
You have to
yes.
signify old
Old
Metallica.
Yeah, well, you have
Yeah.
to signify old
Yeah.
Metallica.
Old Metallica.
It'd probably be like Trivium, Periphery, Lamb of God, all those.
Okay. Here's one for you. What's your favorite local band?
Chris Kane.
Vito Melody.
Sectus.
Big Melody's mine. Alright, who's Chris King?
Chris Kane. Oh man. Yeah. He's not really in the same scene that we're in. That's why.
okay.
And as far as the scene that we're in, oh man, there's way too many to pick from. There are so many talented musicians in this valley. It's insane. Like, I am so honored every time we play a show with someone. I'm like, wow, we're playing with them. That's
We
cool.
know-
For me,
Yeah.
it would be a tie-up if we're talking in general, it's a tie between two bands. If we're talking metal scene, it's one specific band. In general, there's two punk bands that I think are way better than people realize. They're the Declaimed and the Venomous Pinks.
Oh yeah.
They're great people.
Yes.
Good bands.
The Declaimed has never recorded a single song. They've been around since '92,
Wow.
and they're still playing like every month. I'm friends with the singer and the guitar player, Sean Loney.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But in general, in the metal scene, I would have to say, other than our own band of Desert Vikings, I would go with Fatal Malady.
That's a good band.
Right.
My favorite local band is a reggae band, Shay Shay and the Lion's Den, and she came
There you
from D-Dread and the Zion Knights. D-Dread, he lives up in Payson now, but he still comes down to the Valley to play. But he's awesome, yeah. And then there's the 602 band with Casper. A lot of good reggae bands around town. I love reggae. My favorite metal band around town, besides Desert Vikings, that's a hard one. I tell you what, there's so many good ones. I haven't really thought about who was my favorite metal band around town, but I'd probably have to say Scattered Guts.
Right.
Yeah.
They're good dudes too.
Yeah.
It's like the Scattered Guts. There's way too many.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Rising.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Show and Tell.
Right.
Yeah. All great
Oh,
bands,
man.
yeah.
I was saying it's hard. It is hard to pick because there are so many great bands.
Oh, Verathis.
Barathas.
Oh,
Barathas,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Absolutely.
fun. They're cool.
They're not
people.
local. They're from Flagstaff.
Well, yeah, but they're really cool
But they
people.
play
enough.
local.
Yeah.
That's why
It all
I say
counts.
Davey Suicide.
Yeah, no, they're totally local. Those guys
Yeah,
are
I
awesome.
mean Arizona is local to me.
Right.
There's some
It's
great
like they play.
Tucson bands too down there.
Yeah.
Curfew's
That's a
great
good
band.
one, yeah.
Curfew's great band from Tucson.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, me?
Yeah, I know you have, but
Doing chest.
is that the only
I
one?
was, no, malicious, no, I wasn't malicious mark, that wasn't, like, permanent, though. I forgot the name.
Mary Tyler
Thank
Morphine.
Thank you.
Mary Tyler Morphine.
Trevor.
TV
Trevor.
Trash Kill.
TV Trash Kill, yeah. TV
Trevor
Trash Kill,
Chest.
Breakfast of Champions. And then I did a lot of, like, hired gun type things where they just need a drummer to play on stage for a record. I did a lot of that too. But yeah, the other major one is Tuna Chest.
I'm a late bloomer, so my very first band experience in my entire life was with Malicious Melodies, and I was with them for about 6 months. And New Year's Eve of 2019 was our very last show.
And their best show too. I seen all of them.
2018.
That was a really good show.
It was 2018,
2018,
huh? Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my
That was
years
a
are all
really good
messed
show.
up.
Yeah, it was a
It
good
was a great
show.
show. Yeah, that was our very last show. We had a lot of fun, and I feel that we made some really good music, and we were a lot different than the original Malicious Melodies because I'm a girl, and I don't sing quite the same way, and we just did a lot of different songs also, and it was a really good experience, and it was a really good learning experience and a good stepping stone. I was like, oh, I'm never going to be in another band again. I'm so sad. But Sean would come to our shows.
I don't think so. Hey, yeah.
Right. He would come to our shows, and as soon as he would walk in the door, I'd be like, Sean Gilbert is here. Oh my gosh, everybody stop and freeze and just hold on a moment. And it's funny because it's like he was the superstar, and he would always say, well, it was like you were the superstar. I don't know. We just clicked.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really huge thing, is the fact that we did click. We clicked the first day that we met. We both, all of us in this group, have very positive attitudes, and we have very positive outlooks on things, and that's really important to me because like negative energy is not going to work for any of us. And
Sometimes there's a little bit of that, but we get right past it.
we really do.
Yeah.
We anytime we have any kind of a concern or whatever, we all talk about it. And like this is family. Like this is Desert Vikings is my family. I love them so
Forever
much.
family.
Forever.
I've been in a lot of bands before this. The first band I was in was called the Battling Brooks. It was a alt soft rock band. We were like 13, so we were just goofing around. Then I went from that to the Funky Monkeys. I was about 14 at that point. At 15, I formed a band called Insanity's Best Friends. We shortened our name to the Insanities because our drummer didn't like it. It was too long. Then we went from that to Children of Corruption when I was about 18, 19. And then I went from that to a band called Death Ride. And while I was in the band Death Ride, which was here in Phoenix, I was in another band that we never actually got a name together. Like, we were working on songs, we couldn't figure out a name until the singer overdosed on heroin, and the band broke up.
Oh no.
The punk scene. It's the punk scene. Then I went from that to Two in the Chest, which is where I met Rachel. And then in Two in the Chest, I went over to Maritime Morphines. And then after that, Desert Vikings. And here I am.
Oh my God, I don't think I can remember all of them. So I'm the oldest member in the group, and my first band was a high school band called Troll, and then we were trying to make a demo album called Out From Under the Bridge, and then we found out there was another band in Scottsdale, the older guys already named Troll, so we are trying to figure out another name. So then we came up with Screams of Aggression. And then turns out somebody right down the street from us had a band called Screams of Aggression. Yeah, Alhambra High School. That's where I went to high school. Yeah,
That's not like a very common thing to think of.
yeah, SOA. Yeah, and then so that we actually never had a real name. I guess we had a bunch of different. So then I joined a band called Dead Freaks on Acid. Yeah, we were hardcore. That was in Sierra Vista a long time ago, and. Then after that, I've been in a couple other metal bands. I've been in reggae bands. I was in a band called Suburban Dread for a while. We actually recorded some music. My dad actually helped us out with that. Another Shay was in that band also, and Shanika, Ty's a really good singer. I wish he'd come back to the scene. And then I started having kids, so I chose to raise kids instead of do music. And now I kind of wish I would have just stayed in music. I did join one punk rock band. I bought a drum set from my cousin Tom, and I started playing drums a little more. And one of my friends said, "Hey, let's form a punk rock band." So we did, and we played for like a whole year, practiced, got everything down. And he decided to say, "Oh, I'm done. I'm out of here. See ya." He just got weird. I don't think he ever really wanted to play out. He kept making excuses why we couldn't play out. And then after that, I actually played in a country band too, Stacy Rock in Montana when I lived in Montana for a little bit, and then played in a band with my cousin Todd, and we wound up going. That was before most of my kids. Only 2 of my kids were born then, I think. I have 6 kids, and then later on after all this started, my next band was Scott Rowe and Red Rum. He's the one. Him and Donnie Christensen asked me, hey, you need to come back to the scene. I'm like, oh, no, I just started practicing again. I'm not good enough. And he's like, I've seen your videos. You're good enough. Come join the band. I'm like, all right. So I wound up playing with those guys, and that was a lot of fun. That was a great amount of fun. And then me and this dude started talking in Desert Vikings, and here we are. So
Mine's not anywhere near that long.
Yeah.
Desert Vikings was my first band.
Yeah, you and me got really short lists.
Yeah.
What was your second band?
Scott Rowe and Red Row.
Yeah, Scott Rowe,
Scott Rowe and Red Rum. Yeah.
and the Desert Vikings.
Yeah.
So you got 2 under your belt. She's got 2 under her
I
belt.
forgot I can't forget about Skin Witch. When I was
Did you say Skin Witch?
Skin Witch. It was a band called Skin Witch.
Are there pictures?
I actually have a tape.
Was that one of those MySpace pictures I saw?
Oh, no.
Oh, bring out the MySpace.
Oh my God.
And then was my cover band called Saguaro. And then there was one more band that I can't think of. Oh, Lori Bravo Raped, which I just found her on Facebook. Yay. So we just started talking.
What was it called?
Lori Bravo Raped.
Wow.
Okay.
Lori Bravo Raped.
Interesting.
Johnny Bravo, what did you do?
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
You guys would meet her.
Have
We
mercy.
just found each other on Facebook. So.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
That's a very sad question.
That's
Joe!
an easy question for me.
Joe, where are you?
Yeah.
Aw.
Marquee Theater. That's my favorite place.
Oh yeah, I want to go. Well, I've never
Yeah.
played there. I'd like
That's
to.
my favorite.
Forrest's
place,
very
too.
first gig was at the Marquee with Scott Rowe and Red Room.
Mhm.
That's the first place. He had 6 days to learn all his material.
He
You're
did
gonna
so
take all
well.
my
He did a-
questions here.
He did a great job.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
Wait, wait,
Keep doing.
is the question like our favorite venue we played at, or just in general
Okay.
for a venue?
Oh, yeah.
What is your favorite venue to play at?
Oh, yeah.
And
Marquee, for sure.
where do you
Never
want
played
to
there.
play?
My favorite one I played at doesn't exist anymore. It was Joe's Grotto.
That was
I would
great.
I would love to
Yeah.
either play at the Pavilion, Mesa Amphitheater, or Tempe Marquee.
We only got to play there one time as Desert Vikings at Joe's Grotto before they closed.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
The
I got
weekend
to.
before, yeah.
I got to play there with Malicious Melodies. I'm going to say
Oh,
one
that's
and a
right.
half times because I'm not going to count one of them.
Taco night?
Taco night.
Malicious Melodies was at my house one night. They said, "Hey, can you come play at Joe's Grotto?" And it was the end of Taco night.
Oh.
But it was a good show.
What about you?
What else is there?
Favorite?
Burritos.
My favorite was definitely the Marquee.
Yeah, I mean,
Best
Yeah.
sound system,
you
best
know,
stage.
you came in with
Yeah.
the best. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
now you can't compare.
The Van Buren would be,
Um,
or the Pavilion.
I'd love to play one of those too.
yeah.
I want to play a
Mesa
show
Amphitheater.
where 98 Rock is there hosting it or something.
98 KUPD.
Or yeah.
Not
So
KNIX.
recognition
KNIX.
and acknowledgement.
That's a country
KNIX,
station.
you're
I know,
funny.
that's why I said that.
Hey, we can play some country songs. It'll just sound like metal.
Here's
Right.
your fun question of what is your rehearsal normally like?
Oh, you went there.
Was
didn't
that
you?
answer enough?
Rehearsal is fun and very productive, actually. Even though everybody's laughing, we have a lot of fun at rehearsal.
Yeah, but it varies every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go in and it's like straight serious, and then we're just going, and then we're done, we leave. Other times we're sitting there, we get like through like 2 songs, and we sit there and just hang out, have a couple
Reading.
drinks, and just keep playing.
Have a
Reading
couple,
coming
have a
in
What is
couple
that
drinks.
crap you play that I always yell at you about?
Oh, shaving a haircut.
Yeah.
Do it again. I'm gonna put all of you in a corner. I thought
Well,
you came up with
I've tried
something
to be in a
different
corner,
though. I've
like,
never heard it again.
So
We
who's
have
the
a-
jokester, the prankster of the? Oh,
Me? I guess I am.
Wait, fingers
Mr.
are flying
Serious
everywhere.
over here.
Mr. Serious.
Uh,
I got
Yeah.
jokes.
I'm not really that jokey.
He's pretty good. You got a
That's
lot of jokes.
subjective.
Yeah.
That is subjective.
That's
It's probably easier to ask who's the crankiest one.
Hey,
Oh, thanks.
Who's the crankiest one?
Oh, I thought you were
Oh.
pointing at me.
Oh.
Wait, he raised his hand.
Yeah.
I thought that was totally directed at me.
I think I'd be the crankier one.
You're just quiet.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I need to know more about your character names. So we'll start with the Witch Mother.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about the Witch Mother.
The real story of the actual witch mother, or why I am the witch
Why
mother.
are you the Witch Mother?
So I've got a little bit of Mother Hubbard qualities to me. I always got to make sure everybody's okay and that they're behaving and whatnot. And
She looked at you.
I'm also a little bit sadistic at times. And if you mess with my people, because I'm super sweet,
It's on.
but just don't mess with my people because it will be on. So that's kind of where the whole witch mother comes into play, because you know what, Beowulf messed with my people, and as she says, I will see you in hell, my friend, because I'm going to take you there.
It's part of the story too, I think.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah.
assumes the character of each part of the story, I think.
Yeah, and that is a big thing for me. When I'm really, actually, believe it or not, very shy and have a little bit of like social like.
Anxiety.
Yeah, big time. And right. And so the funny thing though is like as soon as I have a microphone in my hand or I'm on stage or whatever, which should just be polar opposite, but that's when I'm feel the most unawkward, but it's because I become the characters to whom I'm playing, and that could be a variety of or a bunch all at the same time even. But
Sometimes she's a narrator. Sometimes she's Grendel.
right.
Sometimes she's the witch mother.
Sometimes I'm
sometimes
the little
she's-
kid laughing at Mr. Zimmerman.
Yep. Sometimes she's the abused child, and sometimes she's the abuser.
Right.
In
Yeah.
the songs, anyways, yeah.
Right. Right.
So,
But I just take on whatever character it is that I'm playing at that moment, and in my mind, it's not even a conscious act; it just happens. But in my mind, it also is a better way to perform whatever it is that you are singing, because I want people to understand the story behind the words, and typically in a venue, you're not there to just simply hear, you're there to watch. And so the performance, the actions and the emotion that's presented to you in the audience is hopefully I'm giving to you what it is that I want you to receive.
There's not a lot of women in heavy metal, so what inspired you to join one?
So, like I said, I'm a late bloomer, and my whole big life, all I wanted to do was be a singer. And I was fortunate to have been able to have an opportunity to sing with Malicious Melodies. And like I said, it was a great stepping stone, and so much of a learning experience. And I was really sad when it was all over with. But when Sean and Forrest and I were all speaking and decided, hey, let's do this. I was gung ho all the way. To me, I'm not always as
yeah, we have to keep reminding her, you are a heavy metal singer.
like, no, I'm
You're
not.
in a heavy metal band.
Right.
You don't
So
have to hit the high
sometimes-
notes
I
like
caught you
Jeff Tate.
recorded saying
Yeah.
you're a heavy metal singer.
Yeah,
at
I
least
know.
once.
He
Yes.
recorded me
Yeah,
one
at
time,
least once.
actually admitting that. I'm like, oh dear, now you caught me.
Yeah, you can.
But I do like a vast.
Stevie Nicks would be so mad.
Right.
Or proud.
I think she'd be proud.
I think she'd be proud.
I don't know what to ask her. But I
If you're watching, Stevie, let us know.
yeah, I
Well,
do
that's sure.
like a variety of genre of music, and I like to sing a variety of genre of music. But I do have to say that I've caught myself at karaoke turning the song that I'm singing into a little more of a metal song, which is kind of crazy because I vowed that I was not a metal singer, and I guess I'm turning into one. But I really like it, and it's all about family to me. Like it's.
Mm-hmm. So when did you begin singing? And tell us more about your background in that.
When I was little, I used to sing all the time. I've never taken a chorus class. I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, legitimately have no idea what I'm doing. It's all like a trial and error kind of a situation, and I'm just hoping for the best. I keep threatening to take voice lessons sometime, and maybe I'll be able to actually sing like in a range and hit some high, which that'd be great. But I've always wanted to get into music. I just never really had an opportunity until now time. And I play the air triangle too.
Hey, cool.
But it's in the shop.
It is.
It's in
Yeah.
the shop.
Yeah.
Solo.
They're working on it right now. They had to order out some parts for it. It's going to take a while to get them done.
Oh my.
They
That's
can't
like
find the
whole-
string that goes to it.
16 and 17 and...
Okay, Sean, when did you, well, first let's back up. Let's go to your character, Valhalla.
Oh, yeah, Val. I'm Val.
Is that?
Holla.
We didn't really go into very much detail about the rest of our
So what is
characters.
Yeah,
besides pages.
we just kind of like just put it out there and then
that? Well,
without a whole lot of thought, really. We're just trying to be like, what are some Viking names, right?
Mhm.
And
So he took Valhalla, the heaven afterlife where the gods live, and just split it.
And then your Sint Floodhest.
It means the angry hippo. I actually have
Can
a
you
reason
say that
why.
again, please? I didn't hear you.
Sint Floodhest.
That's pretty
Can you
close.
use the word
Is that the correct?
It's close.
Yeah, use
But-
that in a
Can you use
sentence.
it in a sentence, please?
But I actually chose that one for actually very specific reasons.
Is it a real name or is
It actually is an actual real name. But the problem is I didn't base it off of the traditional person. I have a little bit of that angry side inside of me. Like anyone that's been around me knows that I have like anger, and I use my stage to let that out a little bit. And the hippo is like a great example of that. They're calm and quiet, sit there quietly, until you come closer to them and mess with them, then they're the most deadly animal on earth. So I took the idea of a person who is, calm, quiet, like I usually tend to be whenever we're just chilling a lot of the time. But the second you put me up there, I'm going off. So I'm like, you know what, this fits who I am, and the hippo is my favorite animal anyway.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of why I chose Valhalla, because it's heaven, so I'm usually at peace until someone screws with me. Then I send all the warriors from heaven.
yeah, waiting for Ragnarok to take on Hell's
That's right.
armies.
And Thor, watch out for that hammer.
Yeah. You could be a good Thor. What about Valkyrie? Like
Valkyrie.
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 Oh, okay.
They're the angels
Yeah.
of the Valhalla. What they do is they would go down and pull the spirits of the
Oh.
fallen warriors to heaven.
That's
Or-
also one word split into two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So we're both Val.
Yeah, we're both.
Yeah.
I didn't not think of that when you said
That's
something.
All right, and the big question mark is, I don't know your name.
I'm not entirely sure. We went over this all at one point.
I like the seer, sort of, and the healer, all mixed into one. I'm not
Sealer.
really sure that we ever completely, like,
I think we ever
sealed the
did.
deal.
I don't think we ever did.
It's hard to get him to commit on stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're
As
so
you can
full
tell.
of it.
Well,
He's the
so full
it's the
of it.
same thing with the costume.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's the
you're-
forest that we see through the tree.
Oh
there you
boy.
go. Forest. Forest.
He's
That
it's
would-
like the light at the end of the
Bubble
tunnel.
gum.
There was a
So,
secret
he'll
meaning in
make
one of
it
the
all
songs where he
better.
worked his name into that.
Yeah,
Forest.
See
Through
the
the
forest
trees.
and the trees, yeah.
yeah. He's like the seer and the healer and the calm peacemaker and the silent observer, the one that you got to be the most leery of.
We gotta find the Viking name that fits that.
I think
description.
Forest is like a
He is
really
the
good name
forest
for
through
him.
The tree.
Forest is
Especially
actually
when it
the-
comes to like Viking lore, because if you go out in the
Yeah.
forest and you fuck around, you might have trolls come out of that forest and get your ass.
Yeah,
There
and
you
if
go.
you
So,
can't
there's
hear a
lots-
tree,
yeah.
or if you're not there when the tree falls, can you hear it? Can you hear the screams when the tree falls on your ass?
Well, Forest it is. There you
Val
go.
Forest.
Val Forest.
Forest Hollow.
another valve.
Forest Hala.
I guess we're out on that one. He'll get back to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Sean, when did you begin playing the guitar?
Oh, me. Probably when I was about 5, my dad bought me my first guitar. It was an acoustic, and I don't think I really learned how to play it. He said I mostly ran my fire engine up and down it, making fire engine noises. And then, so I learned how to play piano because there was a piano in my house all the time. And in high school, I always tried to join the band playing piano, and I never got the chance. They always picked somebody else, and it made me play the odd instrument. So I wound up playing trombone once, and I did okay at it. And I wound up playing the tuba for a couple years. I did okay at that. Nobody else wanted to play it, so I got stuck with it. And then in 7th grade, I liked this girl, and she picked a guitar player over the piano player, and I said, screw it, I want to play guitar. And so my dad bought me a guitar, and I learned how to play.
Cool.
So I guess I learned how to play guitar to get girls.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right. So, tell me, or us, the audience, how you met Forrest and how he became
Oh,
a
yeah.
player.
He bought me from Circle K.
I went to get a thirst buster and wound up with a guitar player at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked at the Circle K by my house all the time, and every time I went in there, he was there. Well, most of the time I went in there, he was there, and he seemed like a good dude. And then that night that he saw me dressed up, he asked me, "Where are you going?" Like that. You look like I don't know what I look like.
He looked like a
I don't think I should
rocker.
answer that question.
But I told I
don't think
I was
should
so
answer that
uncomfortable.
question.
I stood at the back of the stage that night, like, "Oh shit, don't look at me."
It was great. I was there too. It was fantastic. He did so good.
You did a good
We were
job.
so proud of him.
Yeah,
We
but
didn't have any
he's
time to
like,
practice.
"You're in a band," and so yeah, that's how I met Forrest. Hell
So you actually make guitars, right?
yeah, I make guitars. I can make
Yeah,
guitars.
Shed a little
I
bit of
have
light on
one.
that.
It's really pretty. Aw.
Well,
I make guitars.
I was forced into retirement because I had a neck injury, so I needed something to do. So I decided to do woodworking. So I bought a cargo container and put all my tools in it on the side of my house and started building guitars. And I built one for Eric Redman, and they made a documentary about it.
That's cool.
It's a nice guitar, it really is. I like it.
I've
Yeah.
seen a little
Beautiful.
clip.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
But the hard thing about guitars is it's a lot of work, and the price point for business, if I was going to make a living at it, would be much higher than what people are willing to pay.
Yeah.
So I had to abandon that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Give us the lowdown on Music Salute Television. And let the audience know what to expect and what they can do to be on your show.
Oh, okay. So, as a technologist, I call myself a technologist because I do a wide variety of technology. Yeah, and
Technomancer.
my education is in computer sciences, and I always wanted to work at a TV station, doing something for the, like anything, making lower thirds. I tried making lower thirds to get my way in. I tried everything, and nobody would hire me. It's a very small knit group of people, and it's hard to get in. And once you're there, you're pretty much there. So I decided to make my own. So I started making flyers for people with the graphic design thing, the graphic eyes, visualized graphics, and for local bands. Because the whole thing about building guitars too was I was trying to help out local bands also. I like local bands. You know, if I can spread the word a little bit, I try that. So it developed into visualized graphics and then into MSTV. So I make the cartoons, and I do local. I put local bands on the show. I've only done 2 so far. It's a lot of work, and this COVID thing and trying to work through the Desert Vikings stuff and recording an album. We got an album. We have 2 EPs we're working on right now. We got most of that stuff done. So I'm working on another one, and now I'm trying to work with Brian Mogul. Actually, I was talking to him the other day. He's broadcasting himself and some other bands live out of a studio like this. I think Band Oasis, and I told him I could probably get the characters from MSTV to be live, so I could actually be working the character from behind a computer, and you could see the character and Brian Mogul and whatever band, and the character can do, you know. I didn't even know I could do voices until I started doing it. So I started practicing all those voices. But yeah, I'm looking for more bands to put on the show, local bands, if you're a local band. And you have a good video, and it has to have good quality sound. Like, it's basically kind of the concept is old school MTV when they used to play videos, but with cartoons. That's kind of that, yeah.
And that was still MTV, Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, and that's also another way to promote local bands. So I get to actually work in my own TV station and promote local bands. And it helps out Desert Vikings. And I would love to get videos. Just message me. I'll look at your video. If it has good quality, I might put it on the show, yeah.
Yeah. When did you become interested in playing the guitar?
I think I was 6.
Wow.
That was right before my dad bought me my first one.
So who influenced you to play?
Definitely my dad.
Yeah. So your dad, he was also a musician,
He was a singer. Yeah.
a singer, and so did he play the local scene and bands also?
He was mostly over in Dallas. He'd stopped playing before I was born, but
Forrest is the 13th child.
Good.
unlucky number.
No,
That's
that's
my
Or the
favorite
lucky number.
number.
He's
That's
a
my
baker's
favorite number.
dozen.
in Hebrew it means one love.
Are your parents both very supportive of your playing? Do they go to your shows?
My mom is, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad passed a few years back.
Oh, sorry.
But he was.
Oh, definitely.
When Forrest came and was going to jam with Sean, we had no idea. Sean's like, yeah, he's going to come over and jam with me, and
The Circle K dude.
yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see what's going to happen, da-da-da. And then, what was it? You told him something. You said to learn something or that you wanted to do something, and it was the second time that he came back and blew Sean's mind. It was like, holy what have we got going on over here? Yeah. Like,
The first time we jammed out, it probably didn't go so well because
he hadn't
we
played
didn't
in a
know any of the
while.
same kind of songs.
Yeah.
So we agreed on some of the same stuff and went and learned some stuff and then came back and it was like, okay, yeah, we got something here.
Yeah.
For sure. And he hadn't played in a while though, so it still wasn't as good as he is right now. He progressed really fast over the next couple of months. Like, I think all he did was sit at home and probably do meth and eat popcorn and play guitar.
Minus the meth.
Jesus.
Minus the meth. Yeah.
Maybe some Starbucks.
I always prefer cocaine over meth.
Right. There's a flow, man.
No,
There's
he's a
flow.
caffeine guy. What's your caffeine
That's what I was
drink?
gonna say, yeah.
That you used to drink that
Monster.
caffeine. Was it the Monster?
I used
No.
to
Red
caffeine
Bull
pills.
and
Yeah, you do
Jaeger.
caffeine pills.
I
and
used to take
Play
caffeine
guitar
pills and
all
drink
day long. He'd
Red
go to
Bulls.
work
I'd
and
drink
play
like
guitar,
5
that was
Red
it.
Bulls.
band, so we won't dwell on that part. But tell us how you blend your style with the rest of the Vikings.
It's called coerciveness. Cohesion.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
I don't know about that word. Compromise? Maybe. That's
Huh.
a
Or
word.
compromise. Yeah.
No, but
We all do that.
yeah, I mean, I bring my progressive style to the band. All bring their styles, and when we write and we come together, I can hear each part in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really all there is to it. To bring it there, just have to be able to mix it.
Did you take guitar in high school or anything?
I didn't take guitar lessons really. No, maybe like for a year in low elementary school. But
So
that's about it.
you are self-taught pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah.
He comes up with new stuff all the time. Like he'll I'm a big Forrest advocate. I'm like, oh my gosh, one day he's gonna just make sure he remembers us when he's off there famous somewhere. he's progressing even further every day.
Rachel, when did you begin playing the drums and why did you pick the drums?
I was about 14 when I wanted to. No, about 13 when I wanted to, couldn't afford it. So I moved to Colorado with my dad, and he got me my very first drum set at a pawn shop. And then I didn't think I would be very good because I didn't think there was a lot of females out there until he showed me people like Karen Carpenter. Let's see, oh, there's a bunch of them. But yeah, and then I started learning. It was funny because my dad was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna get you a drum set. You gotta learn all of Rumors from Fleetwood Mac." Like, I had to teach myself. Yeah, and then I took a lot of music in school. That's where I learned all my music theory. I took 4 years of music theory, and I played in every band you can possibly think of: marching band, concert band, junior varsity band, name it, I did it. And then I took that knowledge, what I took from marching band, I applied it to the drum set. So that's where I get most of my fills. Until the band Tool came out, I was like, it's the same thing. So, but I didn't start playing in a band until I think it was like I had 2 bands at one time. It was a cover band, and then I also actually forgot another band I was in. God, I totally forgot. It was one of my very first bands ever. It was Mirror's Fate, and that was a cover band, kind of more bluesy on that end. So I did a lot of cover bands, and then, but the reason why I started was because I heard that, I don't know, I didn't want to. It's kind of a goody-goody. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. No, as a kid, and when I found drums, it got me out of trouble. So I didn't really dip school. I smoked cigarettes, but anything else, I kind of, it just had me focused. I remember when the teacher would ask the student, what are you going to do in 10 years? I'm going to be a musician. I'm going to either teach it or I'm going to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what got me into college even, because I just focused a lot on music.
So, and you're primarily into jazz, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, were you in the jazz band?
I was in jazz band
And
every year.
And what about like locally? Playing any jazz bands?
I had what I call smoky bar, actually, where I used a lot of brushes. I couldn't find a lot of musicians. They didn't. It's kind of hard to find my style, which is more of a swing, bebop kind, big band. Kind of hard to find. So my next love, which is metal rock, that's my next love.
So it's just a compromise and play with us.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's really hard. Metal's hard though. Metal's as difficult. Not probably. It can be more difficult than jazz because you have that power and you have a lot of. You get tired.
I don't know how she makes it
And
through a whole
she-
show. I don't know how she makes it through a
Amazing.
song sometimes. I'm like, good God.
She's a monster on the drums for sure.
Your daughter played some in Two in the Chest,
Yeah.
and now she's kind of being featured in Desert Vikings. So is she aspiring to be a drummer and follow in your footsteps and play like in a band?
She has the most beautiful drums.
Her dad got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a bigger jump than I do.
Okay.
It's in the same room that we practice in. Yeah, she has a big drum set, and but yeah, Reverend from Tuna Chest bought that for her, so that and he tells her you gotta play every day 2:30.
Does she do that?
We I think it's a couple times a week because we get so busy.
Right.
But yeah,
She's a good drummer.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fast.
So, Will, when did you become interested in playing the bass? You said you started off with like guitar.
The guitar was the first instrument that was bought for me to play.
Mhm.
It wasn't the first instrument I played, though. When I was a kid, my mom would take me to church, and I would sit there and fiddle around with the piano, and they sat down and actually worked with me on a piano. And then I started wanting a guitar about 7, 8,
Mhm.
and so they got me one when I was about 10, and it was an acoustic, and I didn't play it that much because I didn't know how to tune,
Mhm.
and I didn't take any lessons. And then when my mom bought me an electric guitar and an amp, I actually stopped hanging out with my friends a lot and was sitting there trying to figure out how to play the guitar because I was like I said, I was listening to a lot of punk and metal and stuff, and I wanted to be that. So my friends came over, and that's where we formed our first band. That was just a soft rock band. That's what happened with that. But I picked up the bass a couple years later because I was noticing more and more that what I was listening to wasn't the guitar. It was the bass. I love the little, because like in punk you have a lot of those little bass fills where the bass stands out, where it's got its own unique tone, but separate from everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what drew me in. I thought for the longest time as a kid, Les Claypool was playing guitar, just tuned weirdly. But then I found out he was playing bass, so I'm like, all right, I guess I like bass.
That's a
Yeah.
monster bassist too.
Bass
You know what they
too.
say about bands, right? Though that bands are just a drummer and a bassist, and the rest
Yeah.
of them is a novelty act.
Yeah.
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 The rest of us,
And I think that's
They
why it's
play-
so hard to find
That's
a
where
good
the
drummer
rhythm
or a
comes
good
from,
bass.
is the bass.
And the bottom,
and
yeah.
the-
and the rest of us are just a sideshow.
And the
Yeah.
reason,
Especially
Yeah.
noticeable in a mix.
and the
It
reason
is,
why
yeah.
we're always playing
Take the
bands
bass
together
out,
is
the
because we've been
guitar's
playing
not
together for
nearly as
so
good.
long
Yeah,
Mhm.
that
absolutely, I
we
agree.
actually, what she knows when I'm getting ready to change to something
Yeah.
else, and I know when she's getting ready to change to something else, because
Mhm.
we've learned each other's little
Well,
signatures and
Well,
everything about how we're
Your
doing
third
things.
band together, so
And-
you're a huge punk rock fan. So how have you assimilated that style into the Desert Vikings?
Well, it's been a bit hit and miss with some of the Desert Viking stuff, because like I just joined the band like 6, 7 months ago now.
No, it's more than that. It's more like 8 or 9.
It's been a while.
But they already had like already pre-existing catalog of songs, so there's not much I could do too much to those because they were already so tightly woven together the way the songs were. So I could only do like slight little accents in there. So you would notice like I add like some slides or a couple of off notes here and there, or I'll add a chug where the bass before was just single note. I would do the chug with them instead. But as we started writing new stuff, I started trying to adapt in some of the more like skate punk thrashy sounds, like Suicidal Tendencies, a very punky band, but they're also very thrash metal.
Yeah.
So I started
Great
trying to
crossover
do
band.
what Trujillo, the bass player with them, I try to do some of the weird little addition kind of stuff that he would do. Not exactly like he does it, but like they'll be putting their doing like super chug, and I actually will start palm muting and slapping it and stuff like that, or I'll do like a quick little open movement real quick, something like that. Something that doesn't take away from the sound, but keeps with it, and allows me to keep my punk influences going. And with some of the new songs, like we'll be sitting there in practice and no one will be doing anything, just talking, and I'll start busting out a riff, and then she'll bust out a drum with it, and then they'll start playing along, and she'll start butting out lyrics. Then we'll take that and morph it, add a bit more metal to it, but keep the original of what we were doing, the punky sound with the thrash. So just
Yeah.
modify it.
One practice was just playing nothing but groove metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
There was some alcohol involved too, I think. Though.
There was a handle of Fireball involved. An entire handle of that Fireball. Yeah.
Nobody likes Fireball though.
No,
They all
none of
like
us.
Fireball. I don't.
Man, you know, we won't even go there. Okay, so here's a little something. I want you each to tell me or describe the person to your right.
We're a weird band because, like, when we're writing our music, I think we kind of just throw our own style into it, and it kind of just blends together. So, Will's character in the band, we kind of thought he was kind of like the seer, warrior type of guy or whatever. And in real life, he's a little bit like that. He's a good guy. I like him. He's probably one of the more mellow people. If he wasn't a Viking, I would probably assume he was more like a hippie type. except he won't smoke weed with me. And yeah, he seems to be a good partner to Rachel, and he's a good band member. When he does get angry, he like he'll stand there for a minute and go, okay, I'm gonna. He doesn't say it out loud, but you can tell, like, I'm gonna contain myself. Fuck it. You know?
That's cool.
And you ask him, are you okay? And he's just like, give me a minute.
That's
And it's usually when he's frustrated because he's trying to figure out a riff. And he's like, what the hell are you guys playing? Because when Forrest writes, he writes shit that nobody else can play.
Yeah.
We have to like go back to college to learn what Forrest just wrote.
Yeah.
It's a very vastly different thing for the bass for me.
But so when we first hired Will, we didn't want Will in the band. We were like, okay, we're trying to find a metal guitar bassist. We want a metal bassist, right? And we were trying to find somebody that would like fit the band. And Will was a punk rocker. He didn't look like a Viking right off the bat to me, you know. He was a real mellow guy, you know. And he was good with his other bands. I didn't even know he was in Two in the Chest. And he had to tell me, oh yeah. I'm like, what? I knew she was. What? You're in the band too? So I had to go back and watch videos to see what kind of a player he was. He's a good player. So then we started talking about, like, do we want Will in the band? Would he fit the band? And then so we had a little vote about it. And we're like, yeah, you know what? Let's give him a chance and see how he does. And then as time progressed, he's just proven himself time and time again. So
my tryout with the band, they gave me 5 minutes to go in and learn the song Dawn Patrol by Megadeth.
Yeah, go learn Dawn Patrol and
I
come
had
back for
5
your audition.
minutes to learn it.
And then we all decided if he can play that song decent, we'll give him a chance.
And the
And
funniest,
none
I
of us
came
thought
out.
he would be able to.
I came out to
we-
play
yeah.
it, and I actually was playing it like triple the speed I was supposed to be. Like this complex chord song, I was playing it super punky fast because I had never heard the song before. So
Yeah, that's true. And he
so
did-
he's like, slow it down. So
Yeah,
then
and he did a
just
good
it.
job. Yeah.
You played
So the weird thing is that like you might not think that somebody is a certain way or will fit a certain thing, but when he got a chance, he just proved himself over and over, and we're lucky that we gave him the chance because we would have missed out on an opportunity to have Will. Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's family forever. He's a brother for life.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're a Viking.
That's
We
it,
got
yeah.
we got to seal the deal, man. We got to go get those tattoos finished.
All right. You tell me something about.
Got Paige here. Well, Paige here is a fairly lovely woman that is very friendly to get along with, except when she's having a bad day. At that point, she's like, I'm going to sing, but everyone else leave me the hell alone.
Right. Looking to be good.
Shots!
She's a person that has a lot more talent than she realizes. She
Yes.
is a person that I go out in the shows and people literally will tell me how amazing she is, but she never understands how amazing she really is, what she's doing.
Very humble.
She is a person that at the drop of a hat, as long as she's got a good rhythm and she knows where the rhythm's going, she can make up songs on the spot. She might not remember the lyrics afterwards, but she'll remember how she sang the song and be able to go from that. So she is truly a vocalist through and through. I'm very glad to have her as a friend here.
Thank you.
And if it wasn't for Paige singing, I'm not sure some of our songs would have the feeling that they have.
Right.
Totally agree. Yeah.
So much
Very
love
sweet.
in this
Thank
band.
you.
I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. That's super sweet. Aw. Thank you.
Aww.
I love my family.
Yeah.
You're so awesome.
Do I get to talk about
Rachel?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so
Good job, bro.
one of the coolest things in the entire universe for me is to say that I'm in a band. But what's even cooler than that is to say, and my drummer is this hot chick. And not only is she this hot chick, but she is like, hands down, one of the very, very, very best drummers that I've ever heard. Not just in Phoenix, but anywhere. Like, she's so freaking talented. She's so amazing. And when we are rehearsing, we are kind of in a circle, sort of. Like, I stare at everybody, which kind of sucks when we're, like, forming because I don't get to stare at everybody. But I watch her, and she is just, if I had those mad skills, I'm telling you, I just don't even know what I would do with myself, because she's just, like, so talented, and it's just, and I'm just really, really proud that you're my drummer, and I'm really, really proud that, you know, that we are lucky enough to have you. And also, she's a really kick-ass mom. She's a really good teacher. She's probably one of the most patient, at least in my presence, one of the most patient people I've ever met. Her even kiln on things is just it's pretty fantastic. I'd hate to see the person that she pisses off though, or that pisses her off.
Right.
Yeah, because I've never seen her get like stupid angry.
I've seen it.
I feel like it could happen. I feel like it could happen.
Yeah. You gotta watch out
I
for
love
those
you.
quiet ones.
Thank you so much.
All right, you get to talk about Forrest.
Forrest.
Oh boy.
I love Forrest. So funny. One of his talent. I tell people, I'm like, you have to hear Forrest play. That's the cool thing about this band is you have 2 lead guitar players and 2 rhythm guitar players. Come on, you know, you guys set it up sometimes. You guys talk about it, how who plays this what and plays this what. And when we talk, it's so funny. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot in common. Your mom is awesome.
Somehow it always comes back to that.
Forrest mom has got it going on.
She's awesome. His mom is very awesome.
There's a story behind that too.
Yeah.
Forrest is awesome.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
First thing, besides the guitar playing, the freaking awesome guitar playing, I noticed that you're hardworking. You're very hardworking. You want this band to succeed. I mean, you play around, but I think your focus is more work. Your work ethics are very high. That's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, enough fun games. We'll play. So it puts us together too in that area. Sometimes, you're like one of those people that when you walk in a room, this same page. I was gonna say that page too. You guys walk in like, hey man. A lot of people are like, hey, kind of like that. You get along with anybody, type thing. I have so much to say. A lot of stuff
I
I
start
say.
singing. I
There you
can feel love tonight.
Yeah, I feel
All right, Forrest, you get to talk about Shaw.
Parade.
Oh boy.
Oh no! Everyone, shield yourself.
Oh boy.
Right.
This friendship started off really weird. Like even going back before the band. Like I think that was the weirdest way I've ever met somebody. Literally just like picked me up off a Circle K. But definitely in the beginning and through to now, you still challenge me, like to be a better guitar player. You challenge us all to be better musicians. You're also one of the most selfless people I've ever met. And humble, but definitely become one of my best friends. My best friend.
Fucking likewise for sure.
Fucking.
Aw. You guys are gonna make me cry.
I
Oh my
know.
God. This is so sappy.
And you're a fucking kick-ass guitar player too.
Thank you. I try.
I think all of you are humble. I don't think she has a clue as to how talented she is. I mean, I know she does not have a
I'm
clue
one of those
as to
people.
how talented
I think
she
we can
is.
go
That, like,
round to
he's
round
good.
about this
Yeah,
I think we
conversation.
should too. Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why we're able to stay together past all of our indifference.
No egos.
Yeah, exactly. All of us have a little bit of ego, but we are able to suppress it, I think.
Yeah.
We're also a democracy, though, so we vote on everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
even though I founded the band, they say that I'm kind of the leader, but I'm not the decision maker. We all talk about each other.
Like the Prime Minister.
We all go
Pledge
together.
allegiance to the band.
All of us have to vote. That's why when me and Forrest got together, we said, all right, let's vote if we're going to let Mark and Paige in the band. And then when Paige got in the band, we're like, all right, let's vote if we're going to let Harley in the band. You know, then when Harley got in, all right, let's vote if we're going to let Ron in the band.
Yeah.
All right, let's vote if we're kicking somebody out. Let's vote if we're going to let Rachel in the band. You know, and then now Rachel's in the band. Let's vote if we're going to let Will in the band. And now Will's in the band. Now we don't vote about who's going to be in the band anymore.
They do.
We don't make a decision
My phone will be
unless
screaming
we
me.
have an overwhelming majority, if not unanimous, decision on things, including what shows we're playing, what songs we're working on, if we're going to drop songs from sets, if we're going to be doing any kind of videos, including this interview. It was actually a call to a vote if we were going to do this
Yeah.
too.
When is band practice? Everything.
Because we all have different schedules. We all have different things that we can and can't do. So if with shows or things like this, if one person can't do it, we're done.
We even had offers to be in interviews before, and we declined. We voted and said no.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you asked us, we voted about it and we said yes.
Unanimously and
Yeah.
very quickly, actually.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah, without a doubt.
I'm one
Yeah.
of those people that.
Because you're actually inspirational too. You may not be a
Yeah.
musician, but you're very instrumental in the local music scene also.
Yeah.
So, and you and Trevor support the music scene big
Oh
time.
my
more
gosh,
than you know,
I
yeah.
didn't realize you guys had to drive so far, and you have come to pretty much all of our shows. And, like, yeah, we are very appreciative to that. Thank you.
Thank
so
you for
much.
having
I love
us.
you guys. Yeah.
We appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks for eating one of the O's with us, too. That was fun.
Oh.
For some reason, I'm pretty good at
I know, me too.
Do you guys even remember that?
Yes.
I remember the
It was
first time
a
I
good
met
time.
you.
It was
You guys are so cool that we were worried about making enough money to pay the bands, and you guys even offered to help pay the bands.
Well,
Yeah.
that's how much.
After the show, after we got done playing the other night, Trevor came up to me and said, "Hey, you still need $100?" And I'm like, "We did okay enough at the band," and plus the rest of us in the other bands had talked together. You know, Christian and I, and Ray Kuhn, and David, and everybody talked about it to see if we're going to do it, if we needed more money or not. And we're like, "No, let's just." The whole COVID thing is weird. We didn't know how many people were going to show up, and yeah.
A band who needed to be on that bill. So.
Yeah, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think the whole local music scene doesn't realize what you guys do, but you do a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think that's another reason why we all said yes. We're going to do whatever Penny wants.
Oh, yeah.
whatever I want.
Right?
I wouldn't go that
Let's
far
think
with
about
it.
this.
I wouldn't go-
One last question. Just kidding.
No. No. I didn't even think about it.
I got a question. Are we getting burritos after this?
Yeah, it's time for burritos. Or tacos.
All right, let me cover a couple more. You touched on the EP, a CD, whatever. So, approximately, do you have an estimate, time frame?
It's kind of hinging on me to put my parts down right now, I think.
The what?
For the first one, for me to put my parts on the album.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we have
On the
everything
last
except for
one.
him recorded on the first one. The second
Yeah.
one, we still have like a few songs we have to finish working on before we record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Hopefully,
songs,
we
yeah.
can release the CD when.
We actually have a whole lot of
Parts are
songs
okay.
that we've written that we haven't even brought to the whole band to play.
Right.
And he's
Right.
already throwing songs in, so we got like songs that just keep piling up. We're trying to get them done, yeah.
You guys have like 20 songs, don't you? Between you two?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
we're running out of time.
Yes.
All right, so how would you define this band?
Killer.
Rockin',
Rock.
Metal.
Viking.
Family.
Like,
Who are you?
We
are the Desert Vikings.
All right, so one last thing. What message do you have for your fans?
Be excellent to each other.
Yes, be kind to each other, especially in these times.
Stay safe.
Yeah. Quit calling each other names.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
nice.
Right.
Try to use empathy when you're out there in the world with each
So-
other, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about love. Love
Yeah.
each other.
Because someone's going
Be
to call you on your
patient.
bullshit one of these days.
You can
Be
have different
patient and
views.
tolerant with each other.
But
We're all
still love
going
each other.
insane. We're all
And-
going insane.
Yeah.
So don't do it to each other.
And
And follow your dreams.
In a time of so much disagreement, learn what the word ad hominem means.
Don't be like trapped.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. The Breakfast Club in the form of a heavy metal band. Stevie Nicks, a jazz player, a punk rocker, a progressive rock metalist, and an old school thrasher.
If we're the Breakfast Club, could I be Bender?
Altogether, they morphed into the Desert Vikings.
Peace, guys.
Who are we?
We are the Desert Vikings.
Yeah.